Welcome to Branding Like a Boss, episode 7, the podcast that takes you behind the
Ooh.
scenes of the cannabis industry's most influential brands and the talented minds behind them. I'm your host, Angela Pih, and today we're thrilled to be joined by Wendy Baker, founder and CEO of Space Gem, a pioneer in the cannabis edibles sector who's true to the plant and rooted in the tradition of iced water hash. Of course, our conversation, we're going to dive into her strategies, challenges, and insights into what Wendy has experienced in creating and building Space Gem. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a marketing professional, or simply fascinated by the cannabis industry, you're in for a huge treat. And this one is delicious. Good morning, Wendy. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on here.
So excited to have you. And let's just jump right in. Welcome to Branding Like a Boss. I would say almost everybody knows you, but just in case, can you give us a quick intro?
My name is Wendy Baker. I'm the CEO, founder, miracle maker, Space Gem. I created Space Gem 12 years ago. And Space Gem is a California solventless vegan edible brand.
Oh my goodness. Well, how did you come up with the name Space Jam?
Oh my God, because they're like little gems and they take you to space. And that's how really it came up. Like my first dispensary, they're like, okay, you have to come up with a name. And I went right down the street to Humbrew's and with a friend, and I was like, they're like gems that take you to space. I said gem space, and he said space gem, and that's how it came up.
Oh boy. And when you were thinking about cannabis and bringing cannabis to a community or to the public, why did you choose edibles?
Well, I was in, I was growing weed before that. And, growing weed, I was really part of the glass collectors, um, culture. And so I thought edibles just because I would go to glass shows and go to events and I would love to get high. And I was usually one of the only girls. And so I always would just like make edibles and stuff. And I love hash. And I just didn't like back then when you had a torch and, you would have to like light the torch and the whole thing. It was just so much. But I like the feeling of it. And I thought I could just create that and put it into a candy. And it would be quick, easy. And I was a mom. So it just like helped me throughout my days.
Oh, I love that you're also a canna mom.
Yeah, I'm a Canna mom. Two boys. So, yep.
Well, there are a number of us who are canna moms within the industry and really juggling the challenges of being a business leader, a brand builder, and a parent. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of juggling going on.
Yes, a lot of juggling. And it's like showing up for life, right? Like all those different aspects. Sometimes we don't even want to show up for life, like where we get news or this or that. And I really like the fact that, the stresses of life, like, you can just go smoke a joint and then just be like, okay, we'll figure it out, rather than going to have a glass of wine and being mad about it all night, and I'll go out, smoke a joint, get through it, and then show up in the next thing that I have to do throughout my day. And however that is, and be present and be happy.
Is that part of the philosophy as well in terms of, showing up and having our little treats that help us get through things?
Yeah, because the world needs us. World needs people who are ready to help and contribute and to create a community.
And what about that journey from cultivation to being an edibles founder?
So with cultivation, I was a woman grower, and this part is like such an interesting part of my story. But it really was difficult to sell your pounds of weed to guys. And, it really, I live in Humboldt County. It's notorious for indoor grows. it's just a different world. And I just didn't like being that girl who would call another girl's boyfriend to have him sell my pounds. And that dynamic is very touchy, because that girl's offended that you have pounced and you're calling her boyfriend to do her a favor. She feels like it's a favor. And I was like, that's just not gonna, this is not me. It's not gonna work. It's not sustainable, And I was like, well, if I just make like little candies and like can sell them to shops, it's gonna be such a different world. And no one can be offended. No one can be mad at the candy lady. And I feel like it was just better suitable for myself and my lifestyle too. I felt like it needed to happen. One of us women needed to do it here in Humboldt. That was like definitely something that I saw.
Did you have to take any culinary courses in making gummies?
Oh my God. So I dated this guy who's from the South, and I'm Jewish. And so for Christmas one year, he made me make fudge. And that's where it all started. We went from fudge, and then I took little culinary courses. My best friend used to work for Bang. She was like employee number 2. And so there's like those things that have happened in my life that like I can't ignore them, And yeah, I learned how to make all these things. My gummy recipe totally came to me in a yoga class. I quit and decided to become a yoga teacher. And then it came to me in that class. And then I went back home and tried again. And
Well,
so, yeah, it's like such a different world because when you made gummies back then, you don't have what you have now. Like you have SOPs you can buy, you have all these other like assets, and I had none of that. I had like a brain and a southern boyfriend that basically ate my candy and perfected it and made it sure it was perfect and drove me crazy, but it worked out at
yeah,
that moment.
it sounds like this whole journey of just listening to those inspirations in the
Yes.
moment where you have the clarity to be able to receive it.
Yes, and that was like a big thing. I definitely did A Course in Miracles 3 times in my life. It's like a book, it's like a whole long year thing. And just to be able to conquer fear and to be of service to the universe. I think that that's like a really big part of it.
Well, I think it's a huge service that you're taking the best aspects of the plant and putting it into such clean products for all of us. When I think about the level of care and craft that goes into ice water hash and vegan edibles, I've tried both your gummies and your tinctures. So
Mhm.
I think it was last year for the Emerald Cup when we were evaluating the tinctures, and it was a mango flavored tincture that you had submitted. There were actual bits of mango in there that really gave you the texture and not just something that was floating in oil.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. I know I saw you at the network show and you told me, is that right? That and I didn't even think I won. I didn't even think I won. I wasn't even going to stay for the award ceremony. I didn't even think so. And I was just so blown away. And so, like, I really thank you for seeing that because so many years people didn't see that, And I'm really grateful for you to see how much love and care we really do put it in there. I really do care. And I want to be eating my edibles for the rest of my life. How can I make a product that I want to eat for everyone else too?
Well, it's carving that path of, taking that road less traveled, right?
Oh my God, taking that road in Pioneer, yes, yes. Like I didn't have anyone to look up to. I think people say that to me all the time. Who did you look up to or this or that? No one. I'm like searching sometimes, but I feel like the searching is just like myself of like where I want to go. And people are like mentors or this or that. I think, as you know, being a mom, we have no time, sometimes. And we are just juggling our schedule, and trying not to get sick, you know?
It's
And
funny you say that because I as as a parent who I don't want to call myself a single mom. So as a parent, because co-parent, as a parent who has like a bulk of the responsibilities and the accountability, that is always my final thought at the end of the day. Just don't get sick because I can't afford the downtime.
I can't afford the downtime, and that's how I am. And yeah, I definitely have to create more of a work balance for myself. I'm definitely like working way too much right now. And but I like love it. I love my job, and I'm just so like electric at this moment that I don't know how to turn it off sometimes, you know? And so now I'm like walking with like weights, and I think that's how I got sick, like up a hill and running in the freezing cold. It's super cold lately. And I'm like, okay, this is not gonna work either. I might have to just go to a gym. Like just get the energy out somehow, you know? Yeah.
Do you, so has that always been part of your approach in, when you're facing these gates, whether it's the creation of Space Jam or navigating through life, family, business, that you're constantly thinking about how do I stay true to that feeling that I know is right for me?
Yes. And how the heck am I going to get there? You know, like sometimes that's like another whole point. I have done like a lot of things in the last like year and a half. I definitely went through a lawsuit that I never thought I would ever go through, and it was pretty brutal. And it just staying true in that moment to yourself was definitely really, really hard. And now that that is over, that chapter is over, and I made it through. And now Space Jam has a future, and all these different things are happening. I am just ready to fly and just ready to break those shackles that were on me. And my team is there. Also, I'm super grateful for them. I can't say enough that they stayed with me with this lawsuit. And we have this huge building now that we just acquired, and it is just so massive. And I'm just like, what can we do? What can we do next? You know, and we have plans, and it's cool that it's all coming together, and it doesn't come overnight. That's something that I really have learned is things do not happen overnight. You really have to work on them. You really have to stay true. And every opportunity you have to take and make it work. And that's something that I definitely learned also.
The ability to take it to the limit of what you think is possible.
Yeah, because like whatever I thought, it's more beyond whenever I didn't realize. I knew I would be here for this long, but I didn't know how. And just all the challenges of like going from Prop 215 to Prop 64, and even just with all that, coming along, and yeah, running a team, like expanding new lines, this and that, what all comes of that. And then we have sales. It's like so crazy. It's so crazy. And the state, we live in Humboldt, so we're 10 hours away from LA. It's so long, but the state is massive. And yeah.
I remind people that California is, depending on what rating you look at, we're at least within the top five. If we were a country, we would be a top five economy in terms of a global economy, right?
Yeah.
But we don't often think about that in terms of scale because we're like nestled in our everyday. But the challenges that we're taking on are, international level. We just happen to be a state.
Yes, definitely. I know. I think someone said that there was like 18 million people one time in LA, like maybe a couple years back. And I was like, 18 million? Million? Like I couldn't even like fathom it. Like I live in a town of like 20,000, like it's just so. And then as I look at more populations and just see, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, yeah, I just think it's like really awesome. And
For
to get
sure. You're nestled in this, community, but you're building something for millions of people. And when we think about that and, the new building that you're acquiring and moving into, what about the area of opportunities for innovation? In terms of your product line right now, you have gummies, you have tinctures. So what is that going to allow you to do, like open up for you on the innovation side?
So we didn't acquire a building. We just were in a lawsuit. And so the other person had to move out. So we got to expand. So we have the building and right now. So it's 10,000 square feet.
Wow.
We only had half of it. So we're going to start moving our things to the other half of it. And we have 6 new products that are coming out. We are so excited. This one, we could not launch anything until our lawsuit was over. And we had to move to Cannabis for our distribution partner.
Yeah.
And so there were certain things that had to happen. And they were not easy. None of these challenges to move to a different distribution and realizing that sometimes I was just not in the right fit with people. You know, it's not bad. They're not like anything. It's just we're just different and
Yeah.
everyone runs things differently. So we're super grateful. And then we're gonna do a soft launch at Hall of Flowers. So that's what we're really working on. And then a full launch in April, obviously, because it's hard to do anything and right before March with the Chinese New Year and stuff like
Sure.
that. So I just want to be honest about that. And we are really excited. We're going to do an indica sativa enhanced, in fact, gummies, and I think that that really needs to come out. We're not going to do single strain, and we're really staying true to who we are as Space Gem, and I think that that's really important to me. And to not, we don't follow trends. It has to come. Sometimes it might take longer. People are like, you have to do this or the hustle or bustle. And I live in Humboldt County. We don't have a hustle and bustle. You know, like I have like 2-minute traffic. Like that's all I have. So we're really excited to stay. I just can't believe we made it through all these humps and still to be relevant at this moment has been such a blessing. And I think that I've really stayed in this niche of vegan, organic, making my packaging unique, making sure I stand out. There've been a lot of hurdles with it, but I feel like it's being recognized after all these years, and I'm super grateful for that. You know.
We
Um,
love you guys so much, and
oh
your
my
products
god.
are amazing. And so it's like, oh, what's new? What's coming up? To create craft at the scale that you do, and
Yeah.
be able to be found and accessible to shoppers and to the community and beyond, is actually a huge challenge. I mean, um, just what you said, that you're going to be on Nabis. I mean, that's big time.
Yeah, we're so grateful. Like when we did that transfer in November, that was like a big thing. The Nebus team was so nice and kind to us. Like I could not even believe I was so grateful. They really wanted us to come over there too. And just like all timing. You know, sometimes timing's just not right. And this was just the right timing. And I was so we've been on there since November of last year and we are really, really happy. And it's yeah, distribution is like a huge part of the manufacturing part of it, and they hold your key to a lot of things.
For sure, because they're able to help you expand.
Yeah.
They're able to make sure you're getting paid. They're
Yes.
they're out there, shipping your orders and being in touch with your retail customers, right?
Mhm.
That's the
Yes.
aspect that then you can focus, and your team can focus on making delicious products.
Yes, definitely. And having control of your sales, not just being part of a portfolio, And so those were like, yeah, a lot of learning lessons and a lot of learning curves, but it doesn't mean that in the future we can't do it different and the next times. And I think that that's always like something that I've learned too. If it doesn't work now, that's okay, but maybe in a few years it'll work later. I won't do that again, except one thing, but yeah.
Well, with that, with your distribution and that aspect of the business sorted out, how, like you were saying, you're 10 hours away from LA. So
Yeah.
how do you engage with the community and the community outreach? What,
Oh yeah. Oh, go on.
no, yeah, it's just because there's the distance, but there's the proximity of the intimacy of where you are, and you're already really well known. But the engagement aspect, how do you bridge that?
Yeah, so that's like the biggest hurdle of like the work-life balance. I'm really grateful that I put in the footwork like for years. I really did my own sales. I went down to LA every other week. I did certain things to like put in the footwork and try to shine the light of Humboldt in all the areas that I could do, and really, cultivate relationships and always be kind, because we never know what anyone is going through. And I think that I've like always have learned that, and if it's a no, it's okay. It'll be a yes, whenever, as I was supposed to drive to LA last night, but I was like, I'm going to do this interview and I'm not feeling the best, so I'm going to drive to LA today after this, and I really try to make my life around the cannabis. I love the community of it. And I love seeing all my friends, and that is where I see all my friends at events and stuff. And I feel so grateful for that. And I love my job so much that I want to be able to do this every day of my life. And how can I make sure that this is the life I'm creating, and love it, and be a part of it, and notice how I can make a difference in this world. And yeah.
Absolutely. Over the course of the years, I don't think there was ever an instance where Space Jam showed up that I didn't see you. You've always been the constant face and the smile and the energy of the brand. And last year I remember at Hall of Flowers, you were talking about how your husband had made the disco ball for the display, and you guys really kidded it out. And it was so special because it was self-made.
It was self-made, yeah. As we're like trying to do this other thing with Hall of Flowers, we're about to kill each other, to totally be honest, too, again. But I think we're just gonna keep the disco ball because it's safe at this moment. And creating new products, I can only have so many things, so many challenges in my life. But that means like we don't have investors, we don't have any of these things, and to represent Humboldt in this light, and to represent a woman business, a woman-owned business. I own my business 100%. I just want people to know that there's a difference, and anyone can do graphics, anyone can do all these other things, but if we stay true to ourselves, like, we will shine, and that's something that no one can copy. People can try all these different things, but no one can copy us like that.
Absolutely. And when you talk about that difference,
Mm.
what are some of those differences?
How is it for me different? Definitely, it's that sparkle. It's that like it's this it's this feeling.
You want it to be experienced, right? It's not
I
just a functional thing, probably.
yeah, I want it to be experienced, and I want to spread joy. And and quality of life is like a really big thing for me. And I think it's really, really hard to be a mom and to do all these things. I really do. And life is sometimes very, very challenging.
It absolutely is. We get knocked so many different ways in the energy it requires for us to stay focused to what feels aligned, when some of the times we can't even explain it to other people. We just feel it, we know it, and we want to bring it out there. And even with the way Space Jam is branded, it doesn't feel like it's just for women. It's for
Yeah.
everyone. You want that sparkle, you want that lighting up of that moment that is accessible through your gummies or your tincture.
Yes, we do. We really, really do. And we want people to have an experience with it. And that's why we like do those quotes inside and try to uplift people. We're just trying to
Oh yeah,
uplift,
I
you know.
remember those. I love those quotes. How do you come up with those quotes?
Oh my God, sometimes they're amazing, and sometimes they come up like super easy, and then sometimes it is like so hard to Google quotes, or we have to find quotes or see other ones. And we had only one quote that was not the that was a very controversial quote that we've had in our warehouse for years. And we just happened to use it during the election, and we didn't even, it was just something that happened. And so, and yeah, because we're like, we don't want fear quotes, we don't want anger quotes or this or that. And we've used so many of them too that now we're kind of like, what can we use? And yeah,
It's
we're
almost like
really
a fortune
trying.
cookie, when you open up your tin of Space Jam, that there's a message there for you, like yogi tea or fortune
Yes.
cookie or hidden Patagonia messages. Um, it's a really great branding experience for consumers when they're opening it up.
Yeah, I think I started it because of actually Gabrielle Bernstein. She would do these like daily affirmations, and I just realized how much it helps you, and just to change the mind up a little bit, you know? And so when you have that, when you just open a tin and you see that quote, you're like, oh, okay, it's all gonna work out. The universe has our back. Just be true to yourself. The universe has your back. It's gonna work out, and just know that it's all gonna unfold in whatever way it does.
What are some of the current messages that you're putting into the tins?
So we've done like Degrassi Tyson. Like I can't even say his name, but we've done some of his. We've done like Dolly Parton. Your best part of yourself is your smile. We've done so many. Like we've done rummy ones. We've done like you are love, love over everything. Um, yeah, I'm like, there's just so many different ones that we have. And they're not the easiest thing is we have to do a new run for them for our new packaging. It's yes, that's actually the last thing that we'll do.
Well, so much about positivity,
Yes.
reminding us that we are okay, we are enough, and we
Yeah.
have what it takes to shift that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And I think in this world, and because it's like mostly a lot of people who use cannabis are in the customer service or, they're waitresses or just, there's a lot of different, yeah, there's a lot of different people that use cannabis. Um, and that is probably we just want them to know. I mean, some people just have horrible days and they're just not nice. And we just, yes, that's okay. That's not a reflection of you, you know? Yeah. And don't take it personal.
100%, don't take it personal. So in terms of the way the Space Gems are packaged, these was discretion part of the consideration as well, to be able to take your plant medicine or your moment of shift in from your pocket.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been from my pocket. That was never like my goal. I think that I used to hand cut those gummies. I just like really want to say like each individual one, like when I first started, I hand cut each one. So like I think that has never been it. Like the money part of it has never been what it's for me. And I think what's really just been for me is just helping. And that's really, I think just that tin is just like a little treasure box. When you open it, it's like treasure and, because they're gems and how much I like love them is just, I mean, it's I eat like the Space Jam at work sometimes, and actually a lot. And I'm like, I just like love them so much. I get so happy and like so like the taste and the texture, and I'm just so proud of them. I have a high school education. I would just like to say that I did not go to college. I had a baby at 21, my first kid, and so. I raised my first kid a lot by myself. And then I had another kid at 20. 5, 20, yeah, at 35, at 35. So they're totally two separate, but they're both, yeah, I just really, my first kid went to Waldorf school and I learned a lot about the practices and about how, like, we need to not ignore life. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and those moments of being present.
Like the moments of being present.
Mm.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel that. And well, what do you what are your thoughts about brands? Like, do you see Space Gem going into other markets? As we're seeing brands, California brands that are being exported or making being available into different markets.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like a year ago, I was on a podcast with Turn, the Bree, the one of the co-founders, and I saw that you did a thing, and I see all these other brands going and doing these other states and this and that, and I've like have really thought of it. One, since California is the biggest state, like that's where we are at this moment, and I would like to branch out, but I would like to do it in my own timing. And what that looks like, I mean, I think that we're going to go to Benzinga this year for the first time ever. And so I think that's what we're going to start doing is to start looking into it because I've never been part of those conversations. I've never been with those conversations and to start exploring and just dabbling and seeing what is out there. I think that California needs a lot of work at this moment.
Yeah,
And it's easy just because I live here and to go to all these other places is not, we do have an airport here, but it's super expensive. And I don't know, sometimes it's just taking it slow, and not jumping full ship and,
yeah. I think that's
centering
where a lot of
ourselves.
brands have kind of gotten into trouble where they scale too quickly, they expanded too quickly, they lost control.
Yeah, and I don't want any of that. Like I don't want any of that. I don't see myself as such a control freak, but I'm a very control freak when it comes to Space Jam and what it looks like.
Well,
Like the outside of it.
it's for a child.
It is my child, and so yeah, and I'm really proud of it. So
Mm. Well, we love it. I save your tins.
thank you. I
I
know
can,
we've like talked about like doing like recycle program for our tins, but we can't.
no,
Just
not
because the
with cannabis
tins
products.
just, yeah.
So
You know,
I keep them because I find them really lovely.
I know for your earrings or your jewelry,
Right.
business cards.
Well, the business cards, the trinkets, the keepsakes, and just having them around as reminders every day. So, that's certainly really smart in terms of the branding as it integrates into everyday life.
Well, thank you for saying that. That was like a total push with those tins. That was definitely like a lot. And
Mhm.
so,
Well, it's a huge investment, I'm sure.
yeah, and you know what's up with those tins is they take up so much storage. That's the issue with them. I'm like, just how like they're like 40-foot trucks that come to drop off the container, and we have to like do them. We just got forklifts. I mean, just the whole process of it. We used to unload every box. I mean, I'm so grateful for my team. What I put them through, they're the best.
Oh gosh. Well, what does your team look like? I mean, you do the formulation, you do the testing, like in terms of flavor profile, that is it delicious for you? And what
Yeah, I
does the
think
rest
that. Oh, sorry. What does it look like as our team? As I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
yeah, and it's
Yeah. So just at this moment, we have like I created our SOPs for everything with the gummies and flavors. We are always trying because they're made with with real fruit, and so it's interesting what season has been the best. So we get that. Um, and then I come up with most of the ideas of like what we're gonna do, except my team just pushed me for this new product to do. I ordered the molds, but just didn't think it would work, and they made it work like a couple weeks ago. So I have to launch that
Ooh,
product.
is this something that
And
we're gearing up for then for 2025?
yeah, so we have 6 new products coming out, and it really is at Hollow Flowers. So that is really, it's going to be an interesting few weeks here, and we are pushing the team to the limit and they love it. We'll say they love it. But yeah, we have a cook, so people are cooking them, and we do hand package, and we have metric and things like that. It's basically taking my imagination and turning it into a product and an execution, because execution of the imagination is the hardest part.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we all work together and working together for a really long time, so I'm super grateful on that. And yeah, the it's we don't have machines, and so everything that you see is really hand done, and taking it to that next level.
I don't think people really realize that everything is handmade.
No, I don't think so it either. If you like try to like like people just can't even comprehend it, you know? Yeah. And to see how we can scale that way still, and we know we can, and we have. So we'll just keep chucking along and just keep growing. I feel like growing organically is much better and for us, and just expectations, that we set our own expectations and our own goals.
Well, it seems like 2025 is really big year for you. You know, you've got 6 new products that are going to be announced and launched and hopefully experienced at Hollow Flowers, which is only 4 weeks away. And
Yes.
you're going to be in Benzinga. You've got growth on the horizon. What else can we anticipate in 2025?
Yeah, so Space Jam, like I was saying, it's like Space Jam is alive in 2025, you know? And so we are living the best and fullest that we can possibly live. And we are just really excited. Um, you know, really, we've just stayed true to ourselves and not follow trends. And that's all I can really do.
I
And
love
I'm
that.
looking forward to expanding our footprint in California. And then with expanding our footprint, we'll see where that takes us.
I love that. Now, you know that at the end of each podcast, we talk to we talk about our cannabis themed superhero alter ego. What might be that for you, Wendy?
Well, definitely. I know it's like kind of like, but I'm a queen gem, and I have a crown that I can use to teleport, because I'm all about like teleportation. And actually, I go all throughout everywhere, so I don't have to fly or drive. And just to really see everyone's face when they eat a space gem. I think that that is just like their first experience of it, and how they're afraid, or then what they say. Well, they're afraid at first, or like, oh, it can't be that good. And they're like, wow, that is really good. Or like a sour, and like how they make those crazy faces. I like love it. It's like one of my favorite things. And
It's,
so,
it's almost like a cosmic time travel magician.
yeah, it's a cosmic time travel magician. Exactly. And
Wow.
yes, I think that that's like what yeah, I would really like to teleport and have a crown that I can just like turn, go here, go there.
I love that.
Because it's crazy when you see how many space gems we make, and they just go out and you have no idea who they go to. You have no idea. And you like are like, who is this going to? Where is this from? And in the beginning I like knew, but now it's like it's just so wild how many people like recognize me like throughout the whole entire state. It's like wild, I mean, I'm eating at a restaurant in Sonoma, and these guys recognize me, and I'm like, why didn't you say that in front of my kid? Like he was acting up and he didn't want to eat his food, or or down in like Beverly Hills, some guy like recognized me at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I was actually with famous actors, and I don't know, it's just so wild, and I'm just so grateful, and it makes me like it makes me feel like I'm making a difference in this world, and I know my team feels the same way, and it's just such an honor to be here and have that create something, a product that people love. So.
Well, we love it, and we appreciate you so much for all that you do, staying true to the plan, bringing the best and most delicious, edibles that's really available in California. And like you were seeing, everything that's handmade, hand loved, and heartfelt.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Angela. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you,
I really
Wendy. Now,
appreciate it.
how can our viewers find you?
Yeah, so I'm just on Instagram. I'm Wendy, the Space Jam, obviously. And it's Space Jam Official on Instagram too. And we're like making like little videos and stuff. So please watch like our little and spacejamcandy.com is also our website. So,
Wonderful.
and we do like
Everyone,
little newsletters, so please sign up. So, yeah.
well, everyone follow Space Gem Wendy on Instagram and watch out for her videos, new content, and new products that are coming up in a matter of weeks. Thank you so, so much, Wendy, for being on this program.
Oh, thank you so
Really
much.
adore you.
Mhm. Is that